As I think about dogs and I think about the relationship between humans and dogs, because I do that all the time, I study the behavior of the people around the dogs. I have always done that, and I have always studied the dogs and the relationships of the dogs among themselves, among humans, and different events in their lives. Epigenetics plays a big role in it, but humans, we play a big role in them too. How we relate to each other, what we value the most. And of course, when you are a breeder of my level, what I'm doing at that particular point, you want to build something special. So not all the elements, not all the materials. If you were building a supreme level palace, you cannot use every brick. You cannot use every material. You're going to reject some materials to build that because you want to get only the best. When you want to build the bloodline like the Golden Vein, I needed to reject those that didn't qualify in it. And I needed to attract those things that I needed. So I study and I look for them so much, so hard. And yesterday I got some messages from one of my new clients, one of my older clients, and one that already has 4 of my dogs and just got 2 of my dogs. Plus, I got one that maybe might be my future client or not, but he talked about how, never seen a man that was hated so much and stuff like that. So all these are different relationships with different people. One thing about it is I got the admiration of the guy that talks about the haters, but then my clients that were just bragging about how, this is the words of one of them, the best dog I ever had in my life exceed all my expectations. I think that's incredible. I love it. Then my other friend that got the 2 dogs, he already has 4, he said, I'm still in cloud 9. That was 5 days ago when he got his dogs, his new puppies from Atos and the daughter of us, Mary. I'm still on cloud 9. And thank you so much for everything you've done. And he went and wrote more. I will publish some of those things he talked about. And the other client, he has one of my dogs of, I believe he's Mayweather. And he was talking about how he had Rottweilers, he had all kinds of Shepherds, he had all kinds of bloodlines, Bolio, Red Boy, Eli, all those dogs through his life, and how this was the perfect dog, how you did it, and so on and so forth. I'm actually going to do some personal interviews one-on-one with some of those guys. But I think about this, and the point that I want to bring you to is how difficult it is for me to work and how difficult it is for other people to work with. Good people. They just don't have the same views of the breed, of this supreme. They have this collective thing about everybody hanging around, hanging loose. And some of these, like, let's say, magazine editors, I like Jack Kelly because he needed, I remember at the beginning when he was making the magazine, he needed to reject a lot of people. So he rejected BS, and he wanted to organize the A section, the B section, and the C section according to levels, okay? Because that's selection. Same thing we used with the breed. But then at the last days of his life, when I called him and I told him Macho Buck first show was absolutely fake. It was off the chain. It was something crazy. And that guy, Mark Anthony Davis, that came on the report, and back this report was absolutely BS. And his career had two dogs that were blue collar and one that was a white collar. That tells you the pedestrian level of competition the Macho Buck went into. That was, I guess, these owners wanted to make him fast lane champion by fast lane lies. And when I look at the entire thing, when I called him and he said, Chico, I never had a dog. These are his words. Never had a dog that had so much. What's the word that he used? No. He used a word like people were advocating for him. A lot of calls. This guy had a lot of people calling to vote for this dog. And to me, it's incredible, different things to see people like these guys that never really done nothing, even before Macho and then after Macho. They're not even real dogmen, but how easy it is to convince these dogmen, or supposed to be dogmen. I realized with time that the only reason why they're easy to convince by people is because they are low IQ. So someone with a couple of words, a couple of things, they get people that actually make grand champions were buying dogs from these turkeys. And how I didn't fall for that. I was so different than everybody. how people buy from this guy in North Carolina. He's a tremendous boy peddler. And when I got into dogs in 1990, the only website that was on the internet was his and Victor Acres. And automatically understood that I was not going to do business with this guy. People don't have the IQ to go for that. So I'm touching several topics here. But the one topic that it really comes to my head is that magazine editors, like Jack Kelly at the point, he told me, there's nothing I can do. You know, I need the money. He told me I need the money. He wanted to sell the magazine, and I needed to create a splash, which it comes along with the lines of what Bob Stevens wrote on his book, his last book, where he says that every single, how do you call these, venue, sports, whatever, need to have these men that will jump in the numbers and the scoreboard, that create some sensations. He says baseball, I mean, he talked about basketball. Larry Bird has his era, and then, you know, Magic Johnson has his era, then Michael Jordan. He said those other guys are very good for a decade, but the one for a lifetime will be Michael Jordan. And then he said that Chico Lopez is the guy like is Michael Jordan for the American Pitbull Terrier. But I think, and some of you probably already left the video because you don't think as much as I do, but some of you that I know are there are still engaged thinking with my thinking. And so when I told him, to Jack Kelly, that this was not he says, loving, that's the word he was using. He said, I never had so many people loving for a dog in my life. And I knew that he was fake because there's too many loving, too many ass kissing. And he said, but I need the money. I got legal cases. He was fighting a legal case. And he was getting out of the magazine. He sold the magazine. The last thing he did was that. And he went out really with that stain, you know. But I'm still grateful to him for, you know, having this order, this scoreboard of grand champions, rum dogs, and so on and so forth. I think it was great. At least gave some organization to the sport, or not to the sport, but to the dogs themselves. I don't like to call it a sport. You know, it's just for the dogs. But when I look at some of the guys today that got magazines and stuff like that, you know, it's like they open a circus. Come on, everybody. Coming in through the door, everybody. You got a dog, whatever, doesn't matter. And they celebrate everything. They celebrate everything. They're not celebrating excellence or greatness. And that's why I'm so different. I celebrate excellence and greatness by marriage. Excellence by greatness by marriage. You know, when I have these people that, you know, they had dogs in the past, and they get one of my puppies and they say, man, I never really had a great dog in my life. I thought I did, but now I realize what you're saying is true. And so when I get these things, I understand that even at a pet level, my dogs are superior. And I bred for superiority. And I travel and did everything that I have done for superiority. No one out there is uplifting the breed the way I'm doing it in a glorious press, in a glorious level. And everything that I do for the breed is because I want the breed to survive. But the one point that the breed is not able to survive are the owners. The breed is not surviving the owners, not surviving the breeders. The breed is actually being destroyed by the breeders. Are the breeders and all those people that call themselves old-timers, and they're supposed to be the inspiration that tells you this is the blueprint and how to go forward in life with the dogs. They open a circus, and some of them, I spoke with some of them before, they know exactly who I am, they know my way of thinking, but my way of thinking is non-conductive to their business. And they agree with my stuff that I say, some of them, and they will be able to say, like, you know, hey, Chico is the best, but what do? We just get rid of all the dogs? You know, it's a little bit sad for them, because I guess they settle for mediocrity. And I haven't settled for mediocrity. And I hope I never settle for mediocrity. Knowing the man I am, my wife won't allow me to settle for mediocrity. And so for you guys out there, the one to go to the best and nothing for the best, I wanted to give you these thoughts. I wanted to give you this mindset. I think it's important for us to have these small conversations once a week, twice a week, whenever, you know, they pop on my head and I got to grab a phone and I want to put something on in here. It's about creating the supreme dog, the dog that is a super pet, the dog that is a super dog that can go up in mountains, can do so many things, and it comes from the super legends that don't come from the watered down dogs. You know, I always tell people different things, and I think this conversation is important. I'm going to cut this video. I'm going to record another brand new video that's going to be about the brand of the dog. I want you to watch the video. I'm going to separate them so you guys can understand why it's so important. My name is Chico Lopez. I built the American Pitbull Terrier as the Golden Vein, the greatest dogs ever exist in the American Pitbull Terrier breed. Greatest dogs. It's just tremendous. It's just tremendous. And it makes me very happy to know that we did this work. It makes me very happy that we created this. A lot of hard work. I'm not the only one that worked for them. The man that came before me created these dogs in the past. Many people had access to those dogs. They completely failed. But I had access to dogs and I didn't fail. I created these beautiful dogs of the years and all these great dogs like, you know, Chilindrina and Carmela Soprano and so on and so forth. Brutal Baby, the Bagman, all these dogs. And I can tell you these guys, it was worth it. We created something special. Every time one of my clients, every time one of these people that never had an American Pitbull Terrier get one of my dogs and they're like, woo, amazing, that makes me happy. You know, we have so many things working behind it. My passion, my career, my connections, my networking, everything that I have done, and the fact that I'm a pretty good salesman, all of those things working, and it's so difficult for us to come up to the conclusion, you know, to find the right people, to find those right men. Guys, God bless you. My name is Chico Lopez. Have a good day. Be positive, be strong, always go for the best.